My beloved brothers and sisters today, people say I don't have time. But the truth is, people have too much time, and they waste it on useless scrolling, endless chatting, meaningless entertainment. Yet when life suddenly becomes hard, when the heart breaks, when tests hit, they cry, "Why is this happening to me?" Because Allah is waking you up. Hard times are not a punishment from Allah. They are preparation, purification, and elevation. Many people look at their struggles and immediately assume that something must be wrong, that life has slipped out of control, or that they are being pushed down because Allah is displeased with them. But the truth is far deeper, far more beautiful, and far more hopeful. When Allah allows difficulty to touch your life, it is never without purpose, it is never random, and it is never a sign of rejection. Instead, it is a sign that Allah sees something inside you that you cannot see yet. It is a sign that He wants to build you, strengthen you, and take you to a level you would never reach without the fire of hardship. If gold could speak, it would scream while melting in the furnace. But once it cools, it shines in the same way a believer feels the heat of trials, the weight of disappointments, and the sting of loss. But after they pass through it, they come out purer, wiser, and closer to Allah, what you call pain. Allah calls polishing what you call loss. Allah calls protection what you call delay. Allah calls preparation. Every difficulty carries a hidden gift from your Lord, even if your eyes cannot see it right now. You might wonder why Allah tests you when He can simply give you ease. But if life were only ease, your heart would grow lazy, your soul would lose focus, and your faith would weaken. Hardship wakes you, it sharpens your vision, it pushes you to kneel down in sujood with sincerity, with tears, with real honesty and comfort. Your dua becomes routine in hardship. Your dua becomes alive. And Allah loves when His servant calls upon Him with a heart that is alive, some people think. Their struggle means Allah is angry, but reflect, if Allah wanted to punish, why would He give you signs, reminders, lessons? Opportunities to return punishment is when a person is allowed to drown in sin without feeling anything. A soft heart that feels pain is not being punished, it is being guided. A believer's test is not a sign of distance, it is a sign of closeness. Allah tests those He loves not to break them, but to prepare them for something greater. Sometimes Allah takes something away from you because that thing would have harmed you in ways you don't understand. Sometimes He closes a door because behind it is a path that would have destroyed your peace or your faith. Sometimes the plan you desperately want would have ruined you, and Allah protects you by denying it. But the human heart sees only the moment. While Allah sees the entire story, you see the loss. Allah sees what He saved you from. You see the delay, Allah sees what your character is being molded into. You see the heartbreak. Allah sees a door that needed to close, so your destiny could open. People today waste hours scrolling through meaningless content, drowning in distractions, filling their mind with noise. But the moment life becomes difficult, they panic and ask, "Why me?" They don't realize that strength is not built through comfort. It is built through struggle. If a person can spend hours on useless things, but cannot spend 5 minutes talking to Allah, how can they expect peace to come easily? Hardship teaches you where to turn. It removes the illusion that people can save you. It teaches you reliance on the only one who truly can. When Allah prepares you, He removes your false supports. He takes away things you depended on so you can depend on Him. He shakes your heart so you can reconnect with Him. He allows darkness so you learn where the light truly is. You might think your life is falling apart, but in reality it is falling into place. You are being shaped into someone who can carry the blessings you have been asking for many. Times you do not see the wisdom until long after the hardship has passed. You look back and realize that what you thought was breaking you was actually building you. The pain that pushed you into dua saved you. The loss that humbled you protected you. The silence from Allah was not rejection, it was preparation for something better than you imagined. So when hard times come, don't let your heart whisper that Allah has left you. Instead, remind yourself, my Rabb is preparing me for something written only for me. Every tear has a purpose. Every difficulty is polishing your soul. Every hardship is shaping you for your future. Allah never tests without reason, and He never leaves a believer empty-handed. What He takes, He replaces with something far better at the right time in the right way. Your story is still unfolding, and this chapter of hardship is simply the one that strengthens you for the beautiful chapters ahead. Every delayed prayer has a perfect timing written by Allah, and this is one of the most comforting truths a believer can hold on to. Human beings rush. We want everything now, immediately, instantly, without waiting. But Allah is the Lord of timeless wisdom. He does not give based on our impatience. He gives based on His perfection. When a believer makes dua again and again and the answer still doesn't come, the heart begins to wonder why. But the delay is not a rejection. A delay from Allah is actually a form of protection, a form of timing, a form of preparation. It means Allah is arranging things in your life in the most beautiful way, even if right now nothing makes sense. You see, when you ask Allah for something, He answers you in one of three ways. Sometimes He gives it immediately, sometimes He gives something better, and sometimes He delays it because the timing isn't ready, yet not ready for you, not ready for your heart, not ready for your future, not ready for the world around you. Allah knows the moment when that blessing will benefit you the most. You only know the moment when you want it there. Is a huge difference between what we want and what is good for us. If Allah gave us everything when we demanded it, we would destroy ourselves with our own impatience. Think about a child crying for a knife. The child wants it. The child insists, but the parent doesn't give it, not because they hate the child, but because they love the child and see the danger the child cannot see in the same way. Sometimes you beg Allah for something and He withholds it not out of anger but out of mercy, because He knows what you do not know. He sees what you cannot see, and He saves you from what you don't even realize is harmful. Every dua you make is heard instantly. Not a single one is ignored. Not a single whisper goes unnoticed. But the answer comes when the time written in your destiny arrives. And when the timing arrives, the entire universe moves in your favor, even things you never thought were connected. Allah creates circumstances, opportunities, people, and moments to bring your dua into reality in the most perfect way. If He gave it earlier, it would not benefit you the same way. If He gave it later, it might harm you. So He chooses the exact second when the dua will become a blessing, not a burden. The problem is that most people lose hope just before the blessing is about to descend. They stop making dua. When Allah was about to open the door, they let impatience push them away from the very thing they were praying for. And that is why the blessing doesn't reach them, because the heart gave up too soon. Allah loves a heart that continues to ask, a heart that doesn't lose trust, a heart that believes even when everything seems silent. And this silence from Allah is not empty. Silence from Allah is full of wisdom. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean Allah isn't working. Sometimes Allah rearranges your life quietly in ways you cannot detect. He removes people. He changes your environment. He shifts your direction. He opens new paths. All of this happens behind the scenes while you're waiting for the answer to your prayer. But because you cannot see the process, you assume nothing is happening in reality. Everything is happening. Look back at your life. How many times did something you prayed for arrive much later than you wanted, but when it finally came, it made perfect sense? How many times did you thank Allah for delaying something you once wanted so badly? That is the wisdom of His timing. He never delays to hurt you. He delays to protect you from getting the blessing before you're ready, or before the blessing is ready for you. Sometimes your heart needs work. You may need patience, humility, growth, strength, or faith before receiving what you are asking for. If Allah gave it now, it might overwhelm you, but after you grow, after you learn, after you strengthen, the blessing becomes a gift, not a test. And sometimes the world around you needs to be rearranged before the blessing can enter your life. Allah is not just answering your dua, He is writing a story around your dua. So when you don't see your prayers answered immediately, don't think Allah is ignoring you. Don't think He has closed the doors. Allah is never late. Allah is never careless. Allah never denies a sincere dua. He simply chooses the moment when the dua will become a source of peace, not chaos. And when that moment arrives, the blessing comes so beautifully, so powerfully, so perfectly, that you finally understand why Allah made you wait. Sometimes the delay is the very thing that transforms the blessing into something extraordinary. Faith during hardship unlocks blessings you cannot yet see. And this is one of the most powerful realities of a believer's life. When everything feels heavy, when the world seems to collapse around you, when the path ahead looks unclear and your heart feels weak, yet you still choose to say Allah is with me. That single moment of faith shakes the heavens. The single moment of trust becomes a reason for doors to open that you didn't even know existed. Allah does not allow your pain to go to waste, and He does not allow your patience to pass unnoticed. Every moment of faith you show in difficulty becomes a seed that grows into blessings you will only recognize later. It is easy to trust Allah when life is smooth, when everything is working, when the heart is calm, but real faith shows itself when nothing makes sense, when you are surrounded by confusion, when you are hurting but you still hold on. That kind of faith is rare, that kind of faith is valuable, and Allah rewards it in ways you cannot imagine. When you remain patient during hardship, Allah's help begins long before you see it. The moment you whisper, Ya Allah, His mercy begins to descend. Even if the situation hasn't changed, yet your heart begins to receive a strength that wasn't there. Before your soul becomes resistant in a way it never was, sometimes the help of Allah begins inside you before it appears outside you. People often think blessings are only in the form of solutions, money, success, or ease. But blessings come in many unseen forms. Sometimes the blessing is that Allah removes people from your life who were secretly harmful to your peace. Sometimes the blessing is that He delays something you want so that you don't fall into a trap that would destroy your future. Sometimes the blessing is that He closes a door to save your heart, but because you cannot see the future, you misunderstand the present. You see the pain, not the protection. You see the delay, not the preparation. You see the loss, not the wisdom. When you show faith during hardship, Allah begins aligning your life in ways you cannot comprehend. He writes connections, moves hearts, rearranges events, and shifts your path without you knowing. You might think nothing is changing, but everything is moving silently. Allah works quietly, perfectly, and deeply, and when the right moment comes, everything falls into place with such beauty that you finally understand why patience was necessary. Sometimes you hold on to something with all your strength, thinking it is good for you, but Allah removes it because He knows it would break you later. And sometimes He gives you a hardship because without that hardship, you would never discover your strength, your sincerity, your real potential, or your deep connection with Him. Hardship reveals your true relationship with Allah. When things go wrong and you still turn to Him, it shows who you truly rely on. And Allah loves hearts that rely on Him, even when everything around them is dark. Faith during hardship also builds qualities inside you that ease never could. It builds patience, humility, gratitude, and resilience. It teaches you to stop depending on people and start depending on Allah alone. It breaks your pride and replaces it with sincerity. It removes your attachments to the world and strengthens your attachment to the Creator. These are blessings greater than anything money or comfort could give you. A person who comes out of hardship with a stronger heart is a person who has been blessed in the deepest way. Sometimes the blessing you cannot see yet is simply a better version of you, a wiser you, a stronger you, a more faithful you. Allah knows that if He gives you the blessing you want before you are ready, it might become a test instead of a gift. But if He strengthens your heart first, then when the blessing arrives, you can carry it without losing yourself. You can handle it without becoming arrogant. You can appreciate it rather than waste it. And then there are times when the blessing is not in this world at all. Sometimes your patience becomes a palace in Jannah. Your tears become gardens. Your hardship becomes light on the day of judgment. The unseen world holds rewards far greater than the temporary world you are struggling in now. So even if you don't understand your situation right now, keep your faith alive. Trust that Allah sees what you cannot trust, that He hears what no one else hears. Trust that He knows what is best. Even when it feels difficult, the blessings are already written. They are already on their way. And the moment Allah decides it is time, nothing in this world can hold them back. Your job is simply to hold on to faith until they arrive. So remember, people will keep wasting their time on meaningless things, scrolling, watching, chatting their life away. But you choose to invest your time in the one who rewrites destinies when everything falls apart. Say with full certainty, my Lord is with me, and watch how Allah lifts you, guides you, transforms you, and takes you to a place in life far greater than anything you ever imagined.